Chapter 1, Defining Creative Stamina. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. From the Tao Te Ching. Strength training for artists. Maybe it's disingenuous to think each of us has the potential to be a creative genius. Talent is dispensed unequally at birth. Humans are tangled balls of social conditioning, environment, and serendipity. Life isn't fair, and luck plays a part. We've all heard someone say, "I was just in the right place at the right time," or "I never get lucky." A strand of this fatalistic thinking weaves in and around the subject of creativity. Most people believe you've either got it or you don't. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say rather wistfully, "I'm not that creative." When I hear a statement like that, I think to myself, no one has ever shown you where to begin. Because the fact is, creativity, like any skill, can be cultivated. It takes a healthy combination of focused commitment and strength training, knowledge, and stamina. Think about it. Tour de France bicyclists don't know how to ride at birth. First they learn to walk, and then they learn to pedal. Winning the Tour de France isn't spontaneous. It starts with learning to ride a bicycle. It culminates in a win preceded by years of strength training, so the winner's body and mind work in tandem to master the race. Athletes have the advantage of prescribed methods of building stamina because physical prowess is revered by our culture. Hire a personal trainer and you'll do repetitive exercises, gradually adding reps as your body gains strength. Stay on one track and parts of your body get stronger, but other parts languish. What will the personal trainer do? Introduce cross-training. One session running to ramp up your cardio. Next time, yoga to maximize flexibility. A steady, balanced program of activity is required to keep the human machine functioning at that optimum level. An additional benefit is runner's high, an elevated mental state athletes report when their bodies are pushed to the brink of endurance. More than one athlete has described this experience as akin to a meditation practice. Many agree it's the meditative state that keeps them running, biking, or working out as much as the exercise itself. Transformed strength, flexibility, and stamina are great, but there are unexpected side benefits: greater self-confidence and heightened self-worth. In the process of training the body, the elation of discipline is discovered. It's a win-win. Musicians embrace a similar practice. Etudes are musical studies employed to master an instrument. Talking with musician friends, I realized etudes are also a form of meditation. The potential exists for the playing to center the player. This explains why a player with a 30-year career would continue to play etudes. The daily practice is its own reward. Etudes are an example of how individual meditation practices unfold. Some people sit zazen and om every day. Others join a prayer circle. Musicians practice instruments. As an artist, I achieve daily centering in the studio. I didn't know how to find my center at the beginning. I flailed, but gradually settled into a practice. I began to understand how to sustain creative ability by regularly creating. That's why they call it a practice. Go to the studio and make something. Go to the studio and make something. It's just another version of reps. When I realized behaving creatively could be translated into a series of steps, it rocked my world. Step-by-step learning demystifies physical exercise or playing an instrument. Why shouldn't it demystify what happens when we are deep into making? Here's a disclaimer. Sure, people use what they learn to varying degrees of success. It would be disingenuous to act as though some people won't be better at this than others. Lots of variables affect how much someone achieves as an artist maker. But if the strategies of strength training are applied in the studio, that is, by setting a course of learning and gradually increasing reps, creativity expands, and so does an artist's sense of confidence and self-worth. This is only one of numerous paradoxes encountered in creative strength training. Making begins as play and then gets serious because you start to care. You recognize the need for regular reps or practice, and you screw up your courage to commit. What happens? You come full circle. Stick with the training, because working at it leads back to play. T.S. Eliot said it best in 4 quartets when he wrote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." Check it out. If you experience a strong hit of pleasure from working, you want to keep going. When you're stuck, you don't panic. You know you'll get past it. You tap into the same high described by runners. Have you ever been in the studio and looked at the clock and thought, how could 4 hours have passed? That's what we're talking about. Being so immersed in process, time stands still or speeds by, depending on your perspective.